For inside every survivor, there is a deeper, darker ocean. T-Blockers is an LGBTQ-themed horror movie from Australia. It's currently streaming on Shudder. It was written and directed by Alice Mal McKay and written by Benjamin Powell Robinson. Check out their IMDb pages for the full listings of their work. They did work on projects such as Carnage for Christmas and Satanic Panic. That, yes, all have to do with LGBTQ-themed characters and actual people that are in the LGBTQ community, by the way, fighting back against various horrors. In Carnage for Christmas, there was a Santa-donning serial killer motherfucker that turned out to be really transphobic. And then also, you have Satanic Panic that was just about a cult that doesn't worship blue oysters. They were a round kid, and they were a square kid. That's a deep cut for MST3K fans. This has to do with a couple filmmakers. You have Lauren Last, who plays Sophie, and you have Louis Dawson, who plays Spence, and they are two friends. They party, they drink, they do a whole bunch of stuff, but then they have to fight back against infected people when an earthquake causes some kind of crazy goo to bubble up. And then various transphobic people feel, hey, we're just going to ingest this and then attack people and stuff like that. It's an allegory for how, trans people and LGBTQ people in general feel justifiably oppressed by goddamn motherfucking idiots and people that don't want them to live their lives because, for whatever reason, bigots like that seem to think that people being happy is who they are. It's not good enough. By the way, if you think that way, if you're a fucking bigot like that, one, either pull your head out of your ass, or two, just fuck off. Just fuck the hell off to the ends of the goddamn earth. Just want to say. So, after seeing Carnage for Christmas, I was interested to see what Alice and Benjamin were going to end up doing. And this kind of takes a few things from Carnage for Christmas and basically amps them up a little bit. The editing is a lot tighter in this one, I do want to say. And I like the old school throwback of monsters and gooey stuff and some nice splashes of violence. I did think that Lauren Last did a very good job as Sophie. And I thought that there were some, nice, neat little tidbits and everything. The problem with this movie, and I'm not even necessarily meaning this as a knock because obviously it was an indie film, is the pacing has a bit of an issue. There are parts that feel too rushed, and then there are parts that feel too stretched out. This is only a few minutes longer than Carnage for Christmas, and it's not bad. It's just above average overall, but there are ideas that could have really elevated this had they been expanded on a little bit more. Nevertheless, it doesn't fully gel. There are some scenes that feel like they're disjointed, but it's all right and worth checking out. And let's support LGBTQ filmmakers because they're just trying to bring their visions to life, guys. They're just trying to live as they are. That's it. That's it. It's simple. It's a fucking simple message. There was some on-the-nose commentary, very on-the-nose commentary, to the point it was like Scarface snorking up, during a few of those scenes, or like Tony Khan booking AEW. That doesn't take away from the fact that this movie does have some good ideas that could be expanded on, and hopefully, in the future, Alice and Benjamin are able to team up on projects that have a bit more meat to them as far as budget and stuff like that, but they did what they could with this. It certainly has ambition, and it certainly seems like a lot of people had a lot of fun with it. It has some neat little ideas and explores a few of them, doesn't explore enough of them. Does show that if you accept people as they are or whatever and aren't full-on goddamn dicks, then maybe you won't give in to the hate and the bigotry like the worms that infect these people and turn them into fucking monsters. It's on Shudder if you want to check it out. I'm going to get into spoilers. I look forward to seeing what the filmmakers can do in the future. 3, 2, 1, spoilers. So, yeah, there's this weird narration from this director, this long-past director that happened to be gay, or at least a drag queen, I assume. I'm not sure exactly. I did like how they listed the pronouns of the respective actors and, the cast members in the credits. That was very nice. So I'm trying to keep I'm trying to keep the labeling correct and everything as I navigate this because I don't want to be disrespectful. I didn't necessarily care for the narration stuff because they tried to make the movie within a movie thing that sort of did work and sort of didn't. There's this guy, Adam, that seemed nice, but it turned out he was a chaser. That was referenced in Carnage for Christmas about chasing a chick with a dick, whining and dining, doing this, sticking it, and just doing that, but not treating somebody as an actual human or somebody worthy of love. And that's one-night stands are one thing again, but let's treat people with respect. So there are some cast members that you will recognize from Carnage for Christmas and from, say, Training Panic. That's nice that they found actually a good crew to work on these projects, seemingly back to back, I assume. Even though some were labeled as 2023, they didn't get released on streaming until sometime earlier this year, and then all got dropped on Shudder just very recently. The music was a choice. I don't necessarily know about that, but it was what it was. So Adam quickly gets infected after this one old guy's wondering what the heck happened with this earthquake, and this stuff bubbles up. And then suddenly Adam gets infected, and they just have a few cult members that have this stuff in a bucket like it's the goddamn stuff. And then we just forget about that for a while. For at least a good, I would say, 20 minutes of this 74-minute movie, we just forget about that. There were nightmares that Sophie was having, and the stuff of, she can sense this crazy shit going on. Sense that people aren't who they actually, purport themselves to be, and that's actually a good thing to have. That's something that might have been nice to explore. Her and Spence have a good friendship. I do want to shout the character of Storm, Lisa Ponto, I believe, who, yeah, okay, more of her, nice as a bartender and everything. Wouldn't mind seeing her in more projects. Apparently she's Italian and Australian. That's an interesting mix. And yeah, the infected people the infected people, because of this stuff from the quake. Yeah, now they're coming back and they're bubbling back. There's also commentary about, you can't help trans kids if they're under 18 or you're going to be charged with crimes, this kind of stuff, which is bullshit, by the way. No mutilation surgeries are taking place, by the way. We can just accept people as they are and help these children as they explore who they are and figure it out. Just saying, could be supportive of people. We could do that. Not harming anybody. There's this guy, Zen. It's played by a guy that was in Carnage for Christmas, I believe, as a constable. He's a movie producer, but obviously he's a bit of a shyster. And the dad is struggling, but Sophie's dad had some addiction issues, but he quit drinking, so he's able to send Sophie money because she's struggling as a filmmaker along with Spence. It took almost half the runtime to get back to the fact, this is about infected people. I mean, we established some stuff with the characters, some of which works, some of which doesn't. Racism is ramping up. There's this stuff about rallies, these, anti-trans rallies. And also the infected tap water is what's causing some of this stuff, that at least seemingly. I mean, people are getting dizzy, but they're not necessarily giving in to whatever this stuff is. Or the infected tap water is an allegory for getting beaten down by all this transphobia, and you have to conform to this system because we tell you, at least I assume. That's what I'm guessing they're going for. Eventually they do go on the offensive, like in the movie, because apparently there was this old movie from 1990 that was very low budget, to where worms were infecting people, and they're just worms. These people that hate are just worms, which actually is a pretty good allegory, I will say that much. So the movie within a movie thing certainly was a choice. And there's a guy, Chris, played by Toshihiro Glenn, who was in, who's been in a couple of projects as well, and you'll recognize him from a few of the ones that Alice and Benjamin have done. He accepts Sophie as she is, but unfortunately he ends up getting killed sometime later by Adam, who's the ultimate infected guy, because why not? The ooey gooey stuff's fine. There are some decent moments here. The director of the original film, by the way, apparently off themselves. That's not of the movie within a movie, by the way, I should emphasize. But you got consumed by all this hate, and what's the point? You got to keep fighting those, Spence basically says. And very on-the-nose commentary, as I said. And then they go to this bigot rally, and they end up finding Adam. They end up killing him. Somebody gets infected. They can't be saved. But Sophie ends up killing Adam. They're going to make their own movie about it. Movie within a movie within a movie. And started to kind of test my patience here at this point, but it was what it was. And they end up doing, this. And then Zen apparently was in on this whole thing, because why not? And yeah, it's about, just accepting people as they are and everything, even if not everything works. There are a few things that keep this from being really good, but there are elements that work for the most part. I am going to give it a C plus for the positives. I can't say I necessarily loved it, but I appreciated what they were trying to do. So nevertheless, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter, Letterboxd, and Blue Sky handles in the description. I'm John Ritlin. I'll see you soon.